In Lagos, Christmas arrives early. By the first week of December, lights already hang over the bridges. Street sellers shout, "Christmas rice, Christmas cloth," and the smell of roasted chicken and suya fills the evening air. Welcome to Tales by Steph, a home of interesting African stories. Everyone hustles with joy. Everyone believes that December is the month when miracles happen. Amara believed that too. She was 24, a bright-eyed young woman who sold clothes on Instagram and at a small boutique in Yaba. She didn't have much, but she had dreams. Big ones. She wanted to open her own fashion brand before the next year. Every day she told her friend Kemi, "This Christmas will be different. I can feel it." Lagos felt alive that week. Music from every corner, generators humming, children chasing fireworks that sparkled like spirits in the night. And yet, hidden under all that excitement, something strange was moving quietly through the city. People whispered about the givers, wealthy strangers driving black SUVs, sharing special Christmas hampers in rich neighborhoods and poor ones alike. Nobody knew where they came from. Nobody knew their names. But everyone wanted their gifts. They said the hampers contained imported wine, foreign perfume, sometimes even cash envelopes. Social media was full of pictures of smiling families holding their miracle gifts. But not everyone was smiling for long. In some places, people who received the hampers started falling sick, losing jobs, or facing bad luck that made no sense. But Lagos people love blessings, so they ignored the rumors. And Amara, she didn't believe in such stories, until the day the black SUV stopped right in front of her shop. It was 3 days to Christmas. The sun had just started to set, and the streets were painted gold by the fading light. Two people stepped out of the car, a man and a woman. Both looked rich and calm, dressed in white native outfits that seemed to shine by themselves. The man smiled. "Good evening, young lady." Amara looked up from the mannequins she was dressing. "Good evening, sir. We're sharing Christmas blessings," he said. "You've worked hard this year, haven't you?" Amara laughed shyly. "I try, small." The woman handed her a large red and gold hamper wrapped with a ribbon. "This is for you," she said softly. "Inside you'll find something special. Don't open it until tonight. Look into it before midnight. That's when it works best." Amara blinked. "Works best?" The woman's smile widened. "For favor, my dear. Great favor." Before Amara could ask anything, the strangers entered their car and drove away. She stood there for a while, watching the SUV disappear into traffic. Lagos noise swallowed the moment, honking, shouting, music, but Amara's heartbeat didn't calm down. Something about those people felt strange. Still, curiosity is stronger than fear, especially when life has been hard. She carried the hamper inside her shop, admiring it. There were tins of milk, a bottle of red wine, bags of rice, and, at the bottom, a small parcel wrapped in white cloth. It was light, cold to touch. She smiled. Maybe it's perfume. By 11:30 that night, Yaba was quiet except for distant fireworks. Amara sat on her bed, the hamper before her. Her roommate, Kemi, was already asleep. The parcel with the white cloth sat in her hand. She unwrapped it slowly. It wasn't perfume. It was a mirror. Small, round, and shining faintly, as if it had light inside it. Her reflection stared back, looking tired but beautiful. She smiled at herself, but then her reflection didn't smile back. It blinked first. Amara's breath caught. She tried to drop the mirror, but her hands wouldn't move. Her reflection was smiling now, an unfamiliar, cold smile. The mirror began to hum softly. The air grew heavy. Then she heard a whisper, not in her ears, but inside her head. "Thank you." Amara screamed and threw the mirror. It hit the floor but didn't break. Instead, the sound echoed around the room like laughter. Kemi jumped up. "Amara, what is it?" Amara was shaking. It smiled first. Kemi frowned. You daydream? Amara looked down. The mirror was gone. Only the white cloth lay on the floor. The next morning, Christmas Eve, Amara woke up feeling weak. Her eyes were heavy, her body cold. She was late to open her shop. At noon, she received a message. Dear applicant, we regret to inform you that the fashion grant you applied for has been cancelled. She had been waiting for that grant all year. Then her landlord called. Madam, I need your rent before New Year. No excuses. Her mood sank. She sat alone, wondering why everything suddenly felt like it was falling apart. That night, Kemi came home with food. My sister, you look sick. Amara forced a smile. Maybe I'm just tired. But when she looked into her mirror to retouch her makeup, she gasped. Her reflection looked pale, her eyes dull. Even her smile looked like it belonged to someone else. She tried to shake it off. Maybe she was just imagining things. But the next day, she went out and saw something that made her skin crawl. Across the road, parked beside a supermarket, was the same black SUV. The same man and woman were there, smiling, handing out hampers to other people. Amara froze. Then she saw it. The woman's wrist. On it was Amara's lucky bracelet, the same one her late mother gave her, the one she wore every day. Her heart stopped. She touched her wrist. The bracelet was gone. The woman noticed her staring and smiled even wider. For a split second, Amara swore the woman's eyes flashed silver. That night, Amara didn't sleep. She kept hearing whispers in her head, soft like someone breathing beside her ear. You gave it freely. You looked into the mirror. She cried quietly until morning. The next evening, while she was sitting outside her room, an old woman from the next compound walked up slowly. People called her Mama Nkiru, the kind of neighbor everyone respected but also avoided because she knew too much. My daughter, the old woman said. You collected a Christmas hamper, didn't you? Amara looked up in surprise. Yes, Ma. How did you know? Mama Nkiru sighed. You've been shaking since yesterday. I could feel it. They've taken from you. Taken what? Your destiny. Amara's heart raced. My destiny? How? Mama Nkiru looked at her for a long moment, her eyes dark and sad. Those people are not human. They come every Christmas. They move from city to city, giving out gifts. Inside every hamper, there's a mirror. When you look into it, your life, your future, your light, moves into their world. That's how they stay young, rich, and powerful. Amara's mouth went dry. Is there a way to stop it? The old woman looked away. Maybe, but it's not easy. You must find where they keep the mirrors. Every soul they steal is trapped there. Where? Amara asked quickly. Mama Nkaru hesitated. There's a house at the edge of town near the old railway. People call it the Place of Lights. That's where the mirrors sing at night. Amara shivered. Mirrors that sing. Yes? And if you go there, be careful, because once you step inside, the mirrors don't only show what you lost, they show what you fear. That night, Lagos was loud as usual, clubs booming, fireworks bursting, traffic honking. But Amara heard none of it. She stood at her window, staring at the city lights, thinking about Mama Nkiru's words. She touched her chest. It felt empty, hollow, like something had been pulled out. Maybe the woman was right. Maybe she really had lost her destiny. And if that was true, she wanted it back. She picked up her bag, tied her scarf, and stepped out quietly into the night. The road was quiet, too quiet. Even the wind sounded strange, like whispers following her steps. When she reached the railway area, she saw it. A mansion, old, silent, glowing faintly with red and gold light, just like the hampers. The gates were open. Amara's hands shook, but she walked in. Inside, the walls were lined with mirrors, hundreds of them, glowing softly. She took a step closer and gasped. Inside one of the mirrors, she saw herself, smiling, the version of her that looked full of life, success, and joy. She reached out a trembling hand, and a voice behind her whispered, "Welcome back, Amara. We've been expecting you." Amara froze. Her heart began to beat so loudly she was sure whoever stood behind her could hear it. The voice was calm, deep, and confident, like someone who had been waiting for her for a very long time. She turned slowly. The man from the SUV was standing there, the same smile, the same white outfit. But now, under the dim red glow of the mansion, his eyes looked empty, like dark holes. "You shouldn't be here," Amara said, her voice shaking. He chuckled softly. "But you are here. That means your destiny led you back." Amara looked around again. The mirrors on the walls were clearer now. Inside them were people, men, women, young and old, some crying, some sleeping, some staring blankly like they had given up. She stepped back in horror. "These are people," she whispered. "Real people." "Yes," the man replied. "Their futures." Suddenly the woman appeared beside him, gliding instead of walking. Her skin glowed faintly, as if light lived under it. "Every mirror here holds a life," the woman said. "When people accept our Christmas gifts, they give us permission. Free will is powerful." Amara shook her head. "I didn't agree to this." The woman smiled. "You opened the gift. You looked into the mirror. That was enough." One mirror suddenly began to shake. Amara's chest tightened as she recognized the face inside it. It was Kemi, her roommate, alive, but fading. "No," Amara shouted. "She didn't collect any gift." The man's smile faded slightly. "Destiny is connected. When one star is taken, others around it weaken. That's why we choose carefully." Amara felt anger rise in her chest, hot and painful. "You are destroying people's lives." The woman stepped closer. "No, we are recycling destiny. Lagos is full of wasted stars." That was when Amara noticed something terrifying. The mirrors were not hanging on the walls. They were growing out of them, like living things. And then she heard it again, her own voice. "Amara." She turned sharply. Her mirror was glowing brighter than all the others. Inside it she saw herself, but richer, confident, dressed beautifully, standing in a bright office with people bowing slightly as she passed. The mirror spoke again. "This is the life you were meant to live." Her knees weakened. "You took this from me," Amara whispered. The man shook his head slowly. "No, we only showed it to you. You gave it up because you were tired of waiting." The mansion suddenly went silent. No whispers, no humming, just Amara's breathing. The woman leaned close and said softly, "You can leave now and forget everything, or you can stay and try to take it back." Amara looked at the glowing mirrors, at the trapped faces, at her own future staring back at her. Then she made a decision. She took one step forward, and the mirrors began to scream. Amara's foot had barely touched the floor when the screaming started. It didn't come from one mirror. It came from all of them at once. The sound rushed through the mansion like a wave, sharp, painful, filled with fear. Amara clutched her ears and dropped to her knees, but the screams were not only loud, they were personal. She could hear names being called. She could hear prayers. She could hear people begging for one more chance at life. "Stop it," she cried. The man raised his hand and the screaming died down instantly, like someone turning off a switch. "Your presence is disturbing the balance," he said calmly. "Destinies recognize their owner." Amara's chest rose and fell rapidly. "Then give them back," she snapped. "If they recognize us, let them go." The woman laughed softly. "You think it's that simple?" She waved her hand and one mirror slid forward on its own. It stopped right in front of Amara's face. Inside it, Amara saw her childhood, running barefoot, laughing, dreaming. Then the image changed. She saw herself older, tired, kneeling on the floor of her room, crying quietly at night. "This is what waiting did to you," the woman said. "This is why you were chosen." Amara felt tears sting her eyes. "You don't get to judge my life." The mirror suddenly cracked, not from the outside, but from within. A hand pressed against the glass from inside, shaking it violently. Amara screamed and jumped back. "That one is rejecting us," the man muttered. His calm voice finally showed a trace of anger. "Interesting." The lights flickered, the mirrors trembled. A deep wind rushed through the mansion, blowing Amara's scarf off her head. For the first time, fear crossed the strangers' faces. The woman turned sharply to the man. "She's destabilizing the house." Amara's heart pounded. She didn't understand what she was doing, but something inside her was pushing back. Her chest burned, warm and strong, like a fire trying to come alive again. "You took my destiny," she said slowly, standing up, "but you didn't destroy it." The man stepped back. "Careful." Amara ignored him. She walked toward her glowing mirror. With each step, the screaming grew louder, but now it sounded different, hopeful, encouraging. Her reflection inside the mirror stared back at her, no longer smiling. "Don't come closer," the reflection warned. "If you touch this mirror, someone else will take your place." Amara stopped. "What do you mean?" she whispered. The woman answered instead. "Destiny must be balanced. If one is freed, another must be trapped. That is the rule." Amara's hands shook. She thought of Kemi, of the faces she had seen, of herself, empty and broken. "So this place feeds on replacements," she said quietly. The man nodded. "Exactly." Silence filled the mansion. Amara closed her eyes. For a moment she wanted to run, to escape and forget everything. But then she remembered how it felt to wake up hollow, to feel invisible in her own life. She opened her eyes again. "No," she said firmly, "I won't let you keep feeding on people." The woman's eyes flashed silver. "Then you'll die here." Amara took another step forward. The floor cracked beneath her feet, and somewhere deep inside the mansion, something ancient and angry woke up. Then the air changed. From the far end of the mansion, a shadow began to form. It didn't walk. It rose. Tall, wide, and shapeless at first, it slowly took form. Long arms, a head without a face, a body made of darkness and light swirling together. The mirrors closest to it went dark instantly. The woman stepped back in fear. "No, it's not time yet." Amara stared at the shadow, her heart racing. She didn't know what it was, but she felt it watching her, studying her. "You have taken too much," the shadow spoke, its voice echoing from everywhere and nowhere at once. "This house was built to contain, not to consume." The man fell to his knees. "We only borrowed," he pleaded. "We returned some." The shadow turned slowly toward the shelves of mirrors. "You returned nothing." One mirror suddenly burst open. Light rushed out, filling the room. Then another, and another. The faces inside them cried out as streams of light shot upward, tearing through the ceiling like shooting stars. Amara felt something pull at her chest again, stronger this time. She gasped and dropped to her knees, clutching her heart. Her mirror shook violently. The shadow turned to her. "Child of choice," it said, "your destiny still calls to you, but you must decide." "Decide what?" Amara whispered. "Balance," the shadow replied. "If you take back what is yours, this house will fall. The stolen ones will go free, but you will carry the mark." The woman screamed in anger. "She cannot bear it." The shadow ignored her. Amara looked at the mirrors breaking, the strangers shaking in fear, and the light fighting to escape. She felt the warmth in her chest grow brighter. "I'll carry it," she said softly. The shadow bowed its head, and the mansion screamed. The scream of the mansion was loud and painful, like the cry of something that knew it was about to die. The walls began to fold inward, mirrors shattered and melted into light, the ceiling cracked open, and the night sky appeared above them. The shadow lifted its long arms, and, with one final breath, it pulled all the remaining light out of the mirrors at once. The strangers screamed, not in anger this time, in fear. Their white clothes turned gray, their shining skin dried up like old leaves. In seconds, they looked old, very old, weak, empty. The power they stole left them the same way it left their victims, suddenly and without mercy. "You can't do this," the woman cried, crawling on the floor. The shadow's voice was calm. "You lived on borrowed lives, now return to nothing." They vanished like smoke. Amara felt a strong pull in her chest, warm, painful, alive. She cried out as something rushed back into her, filling every empty place inside her. She saw flashes of her life, her dreams, her future, all settling back where they belonged. The mansion collapsed. Amara woke up outside at dawn, lying on dry ground near the railway. The house was gone. Only rubble remained. No mirrors, no light. Just silence. Weeks passed. Amara's life didn't change overnight, but it moved again. Doors opened slowly. Her mind became clear. Her strength returned. She worked hard, stayed focused, and opportunities followed. Not magically, but honestly. But Amara was no longer the same. Every Christmas she felt it, the mark. A quiet heaviness in her chest. She could sense danger in kindness that felt too sweet. She avoided free gifts from strangers, and every year after Christmas, Lego still whispered stories of people whose lives suddenly collapsed. Because not everyone learns. Amara got her destiny back, but she never forgot the night she almost lost it. Because once you see how destiny is stolen, you can never unsee it. Morals of the story: not every gift is a blessing. Some gifts come with hidden prices. Free things can cost you the most if you don't ask questions. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment for interesting stories.